Welcome
Welcome
to Shade
Shade
in the
in the
City.
City.
I'm your girl, Treese.
It's Nels.
And today we are doing our review of Love and Marriage DC Season 2, Episode 5. I do not know the name of the episode. Sorry, guys. I'm getting really bad.
We gonna call it Quicksilver Way.
I thought is it Quicksilver Way?
I don't know, but that's what this whole episode is mainly about. So
Right. And congrats to Quicksilver on getting the street named after him. That is a super big accomplishment.
And getting his own day.
Oh, he got a day too?
Yes, DJ Quicksilver Day.
Oh, I need to make some friends in the mayor's office or something. But this episode is called Street Fighters, and it definitely was that. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, that's an appropriate name for it. So if you have not already, please make sure that you hit that like button
and that subscribe button.
And y'all, let's get into it. And let's get shady or snowy, wintry, as we got right now.
Oh my God. I got water today.
Okay, so we are picking up where we left off. We
back in the setup.
The setup.
Right in the middle of the setup.
And as we know, Brittany had set little Jamie up so that him and his parents and the family could just talk as a whole. Now, obviously, LJ feels bamboozled and is in a little disbelief that his sister tricked him like this.
I think everybody feel bamboozled. Everybody's like, what's going on?
Right. And I don't know why, because again, I have said this since day one. I feel like Brittany got the most sense out of everybody in that family. Just me. Just saying.
I think it's because she don't normally invite them over. So they like, okay, that was nice of you. Thanks, for thinking about us. And no, that's not what we really here for.
She had a motive.
We here to get exactly.
So Brittany lets them know that, she's tired of being sick and tired. Okay. And that, she's tired of meeting with them individually, one-on-one, and basically brought them there so they could put all the issues on her beautiful coffee table right there. Just leave them all right there. Now, and basically, if they don't want to do that, they can go out the same door that they came in. I said, she's not playing no games with y'all. This is her house, and she lives here.
And she's letting y'all know.
Right. Now, Jamie says he's not looking for any confrontation and tells LJ that he's just trying to figure out where he is in his life because he still lives with him. And I don't think we knew that. I think we all kind of assumed that he was living with the girlfriend.
I thought so too.
Right. He can admit that he and Arena are partially responsible for what's going on with him. And Brittany breaks out in praise.
She caught the Holy Ghost in the name of accountability, okay?
Right? Jamie then goes on to say, well, he needs to take accountability too. And, as we all know, he does. Arena asks LJ, what can they do to help? And he lets them know that, he needs help getting a job. And when they ask what sort of career, what type of job he want, he don't really know.
He just wants something to make money.
Now, Mama T lets him know that he has to want better for himself. And I completely agree. Jamie agrees that they all want better for him more than he wants it for himself. They all can see him doing great things. And obviously, as we know, Jamie has taken steps a few times, not just with the MedStar situation, but even with the trying to get him into security. He just wants him to do something and wants him to want to better himself. And I can understand how that might be frustrating as a parent when you're like, I know you're capable of more, but you just
it's like, yeah, this is not what you want to do. But until you can get to where you want to go, you still need to do something.
Right. Amen. Praise the Lord. And can I just say, Shade Squad, as y'all know, I ain't gonna drop I have no problem dropping my age. But point is, y'all know we're a little bit older, and I just feel like this newer generation can't handle tough love. I feel like there was a lot of hard conversations that were had with me. I didn't like them. but they were had. And I had to hear things that I didn't want to hear. I feel like that's a part of life. And I feel like nowadays you can't say anything that might
Let me tell you
upset
something.
your kids.
Let me tell you something. This couldn't have been your kid regardless, though, Treese. Treese has always been the type to have 2 jobs. Treese has always
Just stopped working
been
2 jobs when I had
really,
my son.
she
Okay.
literally, she's always been super motivated, always been a go-getter. So this type of conversation,
Will not go well with me.
it's actually kind of funny to me that you're so understanding as far as
I'm
LJ
trying because it
goes.
ain't my child. I'm trying.
But no, this could not be a Treese and LJ situation. It would have been the same thing, just like Big Jamie.
Right. So that's why I be agreeing with you, Jamie, on the Twitter. I be telling you, I know you love your son, and sometimes I ain't mad at you. Tough love is exactly what it is. Tough. So LJ kind of just shuts down. He's not interested in talking to
As per
anybody.
usual.
Huh?
I said as per usual.
Right. And so basically, Jamie tells him that he gives him the offer. He feels like they all need to go to therapy as a family and not just talk about what's going on with him, but just, to help all of them. LJ is not here for it. And basically,
I think initially LJ wasn't for it because LJ felt like, oh, I'm the problem. I'm the one that need therapy. And that's where Big Jamie was coming from. Jamie actually had to explain to him, like, no, I actually feel like, I need some
I
time
got some stuff to
well.
work on too.
Exactly. And that's why, he agreed to it.
So Brittany tries to, basically talk some sense into him. And even she starts to get emotional because I'm sure she's worried about her brother. And nobody wants to see their sibling, their child, you know what I mean? Their child, or just when somebody is capable of more and they're just not motivated. And like Nell said, that is kind of a trigger for me. I can't do that. So, and then basically she asked him again after, as Nell said, Jamie reiterates, hey, this is not just about you. This is about us healing as a family, us all working on it. So he finally agrees that, he's willing to go to counseling with them. And probably because he didn't want the eviction notice on his bedroom door. Even though I'm gonna be honest, I think it was a great threat, but I don't know. I think Jamie would have stood strong in it. I don't think Iran would have let him kick that ball.
Yeah, and I think when they get into it about LJ, I think that it causes problems between him and Arena. So, of course, he doesn't want that.
Right.
We move on to Winter. She is going to tour Air DC for a possible location for her Romancipation event.
I love this, Winter.
She said it's a modernized divorce party, basically.
Oh, and can I tell y'all, not to cut you off, I'm sorry. Can I tell y'all that we are going to a winter, well, she's hosting the event. And I just think it's really funny that on all the days we're going to an event that Winter is hosting, it's snowing outside. Just coincidence, just weird.
Is it snowing right now?
It's snowing.
Basically, this is to celebrate being free. Okay.
Free.
Right? Finally, good job,
I just
Winter.
got to be free. Hey, free. I ain't gonna hit that note. I ain't gonna do that to y'all. I'm not Winter. Okay.
Now she invited Sherry? No, what's this girl name? Sherell. Listen, terrible. My phone don't put it in right, okay? Sherell. Okay. She invited Sherell to ask her for, help to invite, I guess, the whole gang that she had at her event to come on over to Winter's event. Now I thought that was pretty ballsy.
Can I just tell y'all?
What?
I had a question from a viewer. And they were like, why would you invite somebody to your event that you don't like? And I said, because she needs to film. Everybody wants to get paid. And unfortunately, unless she brings it gets them late. Because don't get me wrong, but I don't think Winter's the type of person that goes looking for drama. And being that this is her event, I don't think she would invite them unless she really was just doing it so they can film. Just my thoughts.
Well,
you don't see them at any of her other events hanging out. I definitely think it's about filming.
Well, she asked Sherell for her help to bring everybody there, get them all together, because she says everybody needs to let their hair down.
Child. I agree. I'm just gonna say this. I know I didn't say it a lot. I'm sorry. But I will say this. From Twitter and a couple other content creators that I've seen that review the show, a lot of people would just like, and I think I said this to you off camera before. I think that we're all getting to a point where we just want to be able to see them have fun together. And we're kind of over the back and forth drama. And the fact that we haven't been able to go on no trips or do anything because we can't get people to get along long enough to be in the same, it is kind of like,
I think for me, seeing how Ashley's personality is, I'm not really pressed to see them together, because I know when they do come around each other, it's not going to be genuine. It's not going to be them actually trying to have fun. Ashley's not going to want to be in the same vicinity as her, want to look in her direction. She's going to have an attitude. They might as well in the entire time.
Well, I mean, because it's like, prime example, everybody doesn't get along on Real Housewives of Atlanta, but they still take their trips. Yeah, they might have dinner and it might get
They're not Ashley. They're not Ashley.
Oh, so you just think she's not built like that? She's not doing it.
Ashley's not about to fake the funk.
That I'm going to give you. Okay. Good point. Ashley, we need you to come around. Okay.
And Ashley's gonna tell you to kiss her whole big old booty. She's gonna be like, I can let my hair down somewhere else. With friends that I actually like. Okay.
That's true.
But basically, Sherell tells her that really she just needs to have a one-on-one with Ashley.
She ain't taking no bullets for you.
She said, good luck. I'm gonna pray for you, honey.
She said, I tried once.
Exactly.
I'm good.
Winter actually feels that her and Ashley have a lot of things in common. And if they can see past their differences, they might actually be the best of friends.
I love you, Winter, but that was a reach.
It was, let me say, when I watched it, I said,
you gotta look, she said, you gotta get past the differences. And girl, them differences is significant.
Let me tell you something. I watched it and I was like, I can only imagine Ashley's face watching.
No. And see, yes, funny that you thought about Ashley, because you know my jealous ass. I was imagining Alicia watching it like, bitch, what? Who's my best friend? She got me fucked up. I don't know who told you that there was a vacant sign, but bitch, this position is filled.
Yeah, that would be you. She lets Winter know what happened with Arena. And basically, Arena let her know that she had planned on bringing Joy to her event. And she told her that Joy basically was talking mess about her husband, talking about he does bad business. And she really don't with that. And Winter is just in shock. She's like, and I'm supposed to be the messy one.
Right. And then Joy was like, well, how did Arena get in the middle of y'all stuff? I said, the same way you find your stuff in the middle of stuff. Just saying.
You a mess. Well, over at the Silvers, okay, Quick, he's super excited about getting the street named after him, the street he grew up on. Mm-hmm. He also, you know, is excited for his wife. He tells his wife he can't even put her book down. Okay, he is in it. He walking around with this book. I know that's right. Promote. Okay. Okay, support. But
then I felt like it was a little weird, because then he like segued into, but by the way, I feel some type of way. I was like, so you complimented her and then went and would let her know you had an issue? That was like real smooth.
Well, because I mean, yeah.
I mean, that's the way to do it. I'm not mad at Quick. I just noticed it, because I would do something like that. I would give you a compliment and then turn around and be like, oh, but by the way.
He was like, you know, that it's helping people and letting them know what she went through mentally, but he's upset. You know, he was like, but I'm feeling some type of way. You know what I'm saying? Because I thought we tell each other everything. And you ain't tell me about Antonio getting in the fight at school. But basically, Ashley said, well, she didn't feel like it was a big deal. She didn't feel like it was something serious. She said, the boy stole the jacket. Antonio went to get it back. And he got suspended from school. And she didn't really even feel like he should have got suspended.
I actually love both of their perspectives on it, though, because I definitely would have been a mama bear like Ashley and been like, you ain't do nothing wrong. There has been plenty of times with your daughter. I'd be like, oh, so do we need to go up to the school? Do we? I don't
there's plenty of times where I went up to the school and made sure she didn't get suspended.
Right.
Look, when I was watching it, I was like, Ashley, you should have went up to that school and been like,
right.
Why?
Right.
Superintendent on speed dial. Okay.
Yeah. We're those parents. We're those parents.
Don't play about that right here. Okay.
But I did like Quick's explanation as well.
I did as well. Quick basically says, he calls Antonio downstairs because he's like, that's how things, get started. That's how situations, get started. Explains that Antonio explained that apparently he went into the boys book bag to get his jacket out, and Quick says, well, what if he had guns and drugs in there and said that it was yours, blames it on you, and it could have been a totally different situation, and tells them to be mindful even when you're defending yourself. So it's nothing wrong basically saying that, yes, they're both right. There's nothing wrong with you defending yourself. You were right in that aspect, but just still be mindful that things can take a turn.
Now, I will say that even in, and we heard about it in the news, I heard about it the other day, even in Virginia, which is right across the bridge for us, they had a situation where some girl, some other girl in the girl's bathroom. So something as simple as that, I definitely understand what Quick was saying. Like, it could literally change your life. So you addressing somebody about a jacket, yeah, you were right. But is it worth you getting in the bathroom or getting?
Remember, that's why I took that situation so serious.
Right. So yeah, you do got to be careful. So shout out to Quick for giving us some good gems, dropping some good gems.
Yes. That's why he got his own street and his own day.
Right.
Period.
So, hey, Joy. It's spicy season. Now, Joy goes to meet with Sherell and admits she really doesn't want to. They exchange pleasantries, and then they kind of it was really no cut card. I'm not going to lie. I know they will never be cool, but I wish I could see it because I just there's no cut card there. They say what they need to say. And I like Sherell. I told y'all, I don't know what it is about her. I like her. I do think she be tripping sometimes, but I like her. So
I really liked how Joy handled this. She just
I did. So Sherell asked, what's the issue? And Joy is like, I don't have an issue with you. So, Sherell said, I felt the same until Lorena came back and basically said that, you said my husband was doing shady business. So Joy lets us know in confessional, she thinks that her husband is selfish, inconsiderate, but she never used the word shady. And that is very true. They replay the tape. Shout out to Carlos for his receipts. And of course, she didn't say exactly shady, but it was insinuated. Okay.
And she did say, look, and then she said in the confessional, she was basically, what if the shoe fit?
Now, this was my only issue with this scene, was because she was going so hard in confessional, like, oh yeah, well, if Arena said it, I guess it is shady. So you're saying you didn't say that. You do realize you're going to have to sit at the reunion and explain why you said you didn't say that in her face, but then you will go behind confessional and she going to see this. Then you can't deny that you said it because you stood 10 toes down on it in the confessional.
Well, I think what Joy was saying was, yeah, that's not the word that came to my mind. So I didn't say it to Arena. But you know what? Now that you
bring it up.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe he is shady.
Well, Sherell goes on to tell her that she wants to know what her issue is with Black. And Joy tells her to stop. I don't need you to be a middleman because, I knew him before you knew him, sweetie. Oh, okay, Joy, calm down.
And what's her face? She was like, but I know him now. And Joy's like, okay, but I knew him before you. She's like, right. Okay, but what she said,
but
she was
he
like,
tells me everything.
She was like, but you don't believe people change. First of all, we're not talking about the changed man. We're talking about the past. This is what we talk about. We're talking about the man I knew. I don't want to get to know the new one.
See, and that's the part why I love about Sherell. But people change, but
I don't want to find out.
I understand Joy's energy. I'm good. Like I told y'all, once the Pisces is done with y'all, we done. So yeah, no, basically she has no interest in trying. And Sherell tells her she knows about the ultimatum. And finally, Joy breaks it down for us what the real issue is. What we learned is, they were in a group, Mambo Sauce. Apparently they were worldwide. Who knew? And she was a slinger, Black was the rapper, and they had two other members. They lost them before they went on tour. They picked up two new people, went on tour, killed the tour, and then when they got back, Black wanted to bring back the two old members. Once they finished, they were just trying to hit a Destiny's Child. They was just every other day they were switching out members. Lord. He basically gave an ultimatum and said that if they didn't bring back the old members, that he was leaving. And so he left. And that's what happened. And Sherell just wants them to sit down and talk. And basically, Joy tells her to stop trying to mediate. And Joy says that, her clarity is not her concern. And everybody can go in their corners and live their life and keep people's names out their mouth. All right, so Jamie and LJ go to meet with Dr. Cunningham. And they hope, Jamie hopes that it'll be a step forward in the right direction to a better relationship with his son. So they sit down. LJ obviously has his doubts, as he doesn't really just open up to anybody, as we can see. Now, Dr. Cunningham wants to know, or get to the bottom of why are you guys here. So they give the background of what's going on. And, obviously their latest verbal match, which almost ended up being a physical fight. So, Dr. Cunningham first questions why Jamie thinks that anything is going to come from screaming and hollering, and how that's going to solve anything. So I thought that was kudos, confetti.
Look, you and LJ.
Right. That was a great way to start. And Jamie admits that he was drinking. And I love this. Dr. Cunningham said, I'm not going to allow you to use that as an excuse.
Period.
He then goes on to tell him about his 25 years as a detective, and he does believe this might have rubbed off at home, and he was very strict with his children. I absolutely believe that. I would imagine being a cop's kid is probably similar to being a preacher's kid, because there's standards, and if you out here fighting crime and trying to be trying to keep them off the streets, and your child is out here in the streets,
I had a friend, her dad used to put her on house arrest all the time.
Right. I'm sure that it's a lot of pressure. So yeah, LJ, and I'm sure it ain't all been, gravy and potatoes for the little boy. So anyway, he also tells Jamie as an older adult that, he could also handle situations better. LJ is eating this up, loving that the doctor is actually coming for him and not just attacking him. So, he tells him to work on bringing it down, and Jamie acknowledges that he's right about that. Then Dr. Cunningham asks LJ what he wants from his father. And he tells him that he wants his father to trust his growing process, and lets him know that he may not be at a point where he feels he should be, and that it is going to take him some time, but he is going to get there. Basically, just be patient with him. And I think the only thing I could come back to say that, what is the plan? That's all great to have the ambition or want, but how are we getting there? I really think that's all Jamie and Arena are looking. If he set out a plan, I think they would finance it. I think they would do whatever to help him. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't have a plan.
You don't even have an idea. You don't know what he want to do at all.
Dr. Cunningham says, well, what's blocking you from this? And he makes him realize that he's the only thing blocking himself from getting where he needs to be. I said, okay, Dr. Cunningham. We need to do this more often, okay? So he believes it's going to take action, and also LJ taking accountability for his mistakes and, the reason why he is where he is. He tells Jamie that change does take time and asks LJ what is it that Jamie does or says that makes him throw up a brick wall. I thought this was super, super important. And LJ admits that sometimes the things that his father has said to him, he does feel like nothing. And we've all seen, unfortunately, Jamie call him a bum. I'm sorry, you said it, Jamie. It is what it is. It's on camera. And well, we know it hurt him. And he admits that when he says things like that, he's like, why would I do something if you already feel like I'm not good for nothing?
And I'm sure that when Jamie says these things to him, yes, it hurts, right? But
tough love.
Now you're also saying it on TV. So that's another, you know what I'm saying, thing that he has to deal with.
No, I agree with you 110%. I agree with that. But it also goes, I think this is what made me really think about the tough love part, because if I'm frustrated with you, if I'm angry with you, no, I'm not excusing how he speaks to him, but clearly you're not getting it. And so if I'm frustrated and I have to raise my voice, but because I'm not, woo, 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 go get a job. I'm sorry. I don't know. Woo, 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 go get a job. Let me help you. And I just feel like, what is it? God helps those who help themselves. Yeah. I can be your parent all day, but if you ain't willing to help yourself, I'm doing you a disservice. So yeah, no, basically they kind of end the session, and Dr. Cunningham has a moment to himself with LJ, and he asks him how serious he is about these, threats or these feelings that he's having. And he basically says that, he had him almost like a month ago. He tries to make it like dumb it down, of course, because we're on camera and, whatever. And he's like, oh yeah, it's been a while since I've had these thoughts. And then he's like, how long? And he's like, a month. That's not long, babe. And I hate to say it, but it proved Ashley's point that they're downplaying it, and it's probably happening more than they think it is. So I'm glad that he did bring that to the forefront and was comfortable being honest with the doctor, and he let him know that he would give him his number if he ever needed a chance, or wanted to talk or felt any type of way, he could reach out to him and call him. Only thing I didn't like is that you actually, and this is what I did love, you knew LJ was serious because before he left that session, he was like, what about that number? And I'm mad at the doctor for not having it. For letting that boy walk. I don't give a damn if it was old school, write it down. I know that boy had his phone, put it in his phone. But clearly he wanted it because he really felt what you said and really felt like, yo, I can call him. So I don't care how they had to do it. I don't know if it was for TV. I don't know what, but I really feel like he should have given him that number in that moment. Just my thoughts, but it's TV.
We are now at Quick's old neighborhood. It's his birthday. Okay, and they are renaming the street.
Oh, it was his birthday.
It was his birthday. Actually, November 4th, 2022 is the day that they did it. So I guess
him and Ashley are both Scorpios? Because Ashley's birthday was what? An episode ago. I know her birthday's in October.
Oh.
Yeah, I think they're both Scorpios.
Okay.
But go ahead. Yeah, they probably doing it.
So they're gonna rename the street that he was born on. Joy said, of course, she was showing up because this is her hometown. She up there taking pictures, taking selfies. She hype, okay? She seemed like she is okay being on camera right now. She happy. Everybody is in attendance to honor this day and honor this moment for Quick. Joy says, how ironic that Quick grew up on a street named Shadyside, and Sherell is here in attendance and had a problem with Arena using the word shady.
Okay.
I thought that was pretty ironic as well.
Yeah, now, what a quinkity. You know what? We might actually have to just go visit and take a picture of Shadyside, It got to be in and out, in and out, in and out. What?
This is coming from the one who don't never carry nothing on her, okay?
I know, right? I said in and out.
Just stop.
Like we leave a car running and we just.
Now, Quick says where he grew up was a really dangerous area. If I'm not mistaken, I think he said he was shot and stabbed over there.
That's why I said we leaving the car running and we going.
I know he said it's a lot better now. A lot of things have changed. Basically, Quick, you know, he gets up on the podium. He's super emotional, getting all choked up. You know, he's talking about how he wished his parents were there.
That was sad. He had everybody in
to
tears.
Witness it. Yeah. His grandmother was in tears. He like shot out his grandmother.
Tears. I was over here crying, y'all.
And then Sherell. So she's very excited for Quick. Okay, but she can't help but see Arena's Bob. She can't help but see Arena's Bob over there dancing out the corner of her eye.
And now I will say this: as much as I like Sherell, this was absolutely positively so inappropriate. And
and she knew, and that's what's crazy. She knows.
She knew, and like, she didn't care.
That's on me.
So yeah. I can give her that because but that's, I'm gonna be honest with you, Sherell. That's what makes it even tackier. Because you knew how inappropriate it was in this moment where this man is getting honored. And if it was her husband, and the only reason I say that because you go hard for your husband, clearly. And if that was your husband, I'm gonna be honest, if I was Ashley, me and Sherell would have a problem. We would have a problem after that. I wouldn't even be mad at Arena because she came at you with the but me and Sherell would have a moment.
Well, because this Bob was dancing in the background, she felt the need to go talk to her. So Joy said she already knew, okay, that it's about to go down. She said when she see a Black girl doing all of this with her hands and talking about, I need to address a few things, she already know what time it is. We all do. It is a Black girl thing. We know what it is. So she tells her that actually, I'm not going to say she tells her. What she said was she goes over to the group and she says that she had a conversation with Joy and she just wants to be clear about where she stands in the space, that she's not with the he say, she say, or play with words, okay? And
I love how Joy stayed out of it. She was like, this is not the right time. I could jump in it and say what I said or what was said, but this is not the right time or place to do this. So I'm the fact, and Joy ain't said nothing right now.
Now, she says that she talked to Joy, and she said that Joy ain't never used the word shady. Let me say, look, Arena's like, oh, okay, you're addressing me. Because, you ain't say my name. I ain't know who you talking to. You over here talking to the group, so you talking to me. So basically, let me say something. Boy, did things take a turn. Did they take a turn? Because Arena starts talking about she didn't use the word shady, but she said that what she say, he was untrustworthy and he's unethical. And if you look it up on Google, what does that mean?
I love Arena. She said, do you know the word? Do you know the word?
I literally looked up the definition. I should have looked up the definition.
She had it ready on her phone.
She was ready. And basically Sherell is basically like, oh well, you should have said the word that Joy used. That Joy used it. I don't know. I felt like Sherell.
And that's a whole nother thing. What we not gonna do, because what Arena said was valid. Untrustworthy, unethical. It doesn't matter. Either way, you would have been upset. So what I'm so confused about is why you have so much
energy for me.
For Arena, when basically Joy still said it.
And really, okay, shady, yes, is a bad word, but I think I'd rather be called shady than unethical and untrustworthy.
Yeah,
because shady,
the unethical, untrustworthy.
Look, we call ourselves shady, but when we say shady, we don't mean unethical or
untrustworthy.
Exactly. So I mean, shady could mean a multitude of things.
Well, we're shady. We're more, palms. We're palm branches out in this.
Yeah.
We give relief from the heat.
But yes, basically, Joy said she wasn't getting involved. She said what we don't need is 3 Black women out here acting crazy instead of these 2. And this is the wrong event to be doing it. So that's what we're not about to do. Now, Arena basically is just like, girl, I don't even know why you mad. I don't understand, like, and that's why don't nobody like you. I told you, the girl done said it. Okay, even though she didn't use that word. Apparently Sherell don't give a damn who don't like her.
Nobody like her.
And Ashley ready to smack both of these women.
And Ashley said, if I step in between them and they get to swinging, it's gonna be 3 fuckers out here fighting. And trust me, Ashley meant that. Ashley meant that.
Yeah, Ashley was pissed off because the event was, of course, about her husband, and here they go messing it up.
I'm gonna tell you what, Ashley, if you would have hauled off and whoops his ass, I wouldn't even been mad. I would have said, do that. Well, that was pretty much the episode. They ended with that. I do believe Quick stepped in, separated the ladies, and told them that,
Oh, no, he tried, and Ashley stepped in and moved him.
Oh, yeah, that's true. He had to.
She was like, this is ladies, let me deal with this. And that's when she said she was ready to smack out of both of them.
I actually want to see, how Ashley deals with this situation with Sherell, because again, we would have an issue. And then I'm actually interested to see next episode, because it looks like Ashley and Winter are able to hopefully make amends, but I don't know, because even if it's not Ashley coming for her, it's going to be Arena. So poor girl can't win for losing. It's a cold world out here, literally. But anyway, guys, if you have not already, please make sure that you hit that like button.
You comment.
You subscribe.
And you hit the notification bell.
Yes, and we will catch y'all, and hopefully we'll have some footage to share with y'all from our activities this evening. And yes, we will catch you next week for another review of Love and Marriage DC. Have a good night. Bye-bye.